Yeah, back to the twisty and clungy and wonderful straight lines in Azerbaijan Baku with close to 20 minutes of, should I call red, yellow, and amber flag. It was it because there was a little, will I call it impediment or something that was stuck underneath some part of the drive area in turn 16-17 that day. Marshals were trying to remove, and it took them time to be able to sort it out. As they were trying to sort it out, the flag goes green and goes red again, and sometimes goes yellow. So it was so funny to see how it was sorted out. But the main thing is Formula One keeps evolving. They keep learning, they keep seeing new things. And one thing that amazes me, that draws me more and make it more interesting in motorsport is management. How you manage time, people, and everything around you. And we can see that today, though we had less time on track, whenever there's a red flag, there's a pause in the time. But during practice, there's no pause in time. Time keeps running. If it runs out of their whole willful abundance, the FIA or the Formula One stewards might decide to give you some time. But outside that, oh God, we are going back again. But we can see how interesting it was. Lando Norris banging it from the beginning, kept on banging and pushing at that time, pushing the limit of the car, setting McLaren apart from every other, saying that, yeah, we might have lost it in Monza, but we are back here to get on track. And other teams, don't give yourself hopes. We just want to win these two championships. Round it up and say, hello, we're gone. So that was why they are here today. And I think they are here to make that statement. And that statement is already looking big because Lando Norris didn't take it easy. And his teammate was in the garage for like 30 minutes trying to sort out an issue in which they thought would surface during the race. That was an issue that happened with Lando Norris in Netherlands. That was a Dutch GP when some part of the suspension caused a failure in the water system of the engine. So they don't want that to happen to them. They saw that, they quickly fixed it on Oscar Piastri's car, and immediately he got back on the road. Oscar Piastri kept on banging the time, learning through it, and he was able to get closer to his teammate, with McLaren finishing 1-2, and Charles Leclerc, the king of Azerbaijan, 5 pole positions, was crawling right behind them in third. And you can see that these guys are still learning in FP1. Unlike some other street races, you need to learn into Azerbaijan track, because those twisty, cranky, crunchy corners, if you don't learn into it, you pay dearly. And we can see Lewis Hamilton paying dearly for that while trying to get some beautiful lap times to his grace. So he got clunked into the wall, lost his front wings, and also he had to change his tire because he lost the front tires around there. So we can see that it is a well in which they dig to learn into the weekend, and the FP2 will be much more interesting as these drivers will try to get more times. We can see that the Williams are looking a little bit better here because on the long straight they have a good car that can do the long straight, but the Aston Martin are looking a little bit far back. I think they will learn through the weekend. Alonso not really getting plunged to it. The Alpine far off, a lot of mistakes coming in from people like Bortoleto, Max Verstappen running into the runoff areas on cold tires while trying to scamper for good warm up and some for good lap times. But I think going into the FP2, we'll see much more time, much more balance, and we can see much of those drivers trying to get closer, marrying into the walls, and see how they can get more time, because more time on that track, the better it can be. Going to the FP2, we give you more updates and analysis. How can you have an Azerbaijan Grand Prix without clipping? What is clipping? Not engine clipping. Without the drivers clipping the wall. We had a lot of clippings. Lando Norris clipping the wall, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen. But it was not really too much clipping for them. But Lando Norris broke his front right suspension, and that really took him into the garage, and he was suspended in this garage by himself all through the rest of the session. He didn't really have good long runs. But in all, we had the Ferrari really coming out to make a statement, and Lewis Hamilton making a good statement. On the medium tires, he was breathtakingly fast. On the soft tires, he was crazily fast, which shows that we feel like Lewis Hamilton is trying to understand the car, getting the challenges that he has been having all through the season, which is the rear of the Ferrari and also the braking of the Ferrari. I think probably if he can get that very well right in Azerbaijan, which has a lot of tricky sessions, close walls, he would get it quite well done. On other tracks, Lewis Hamilton topping the session is a good thing for Ferrari, and his teammate Charles Leclerc, which we know is the master of qualifying in Baku, can come back in the FP3 and qualifying. You know, Charles Leclerc knows how to do it in Baku. His home race is in Monaco, but his kingdom is in Baku in qualifying. Don't count count the McLarens and the Red Bulls out. The Mercedes were third and fourth in FP2. Max Verstappen not quite there, but a decent job. So don't count Max Verstappen and the two McLarens out. And remember, in Baku, we've only had two teams take pole in Baku. We've had the Ferrari and the Mercedes. Those are the only two teams that have taken pole in Baku. Aside from those two teams, no other team has taken pole. Are we going to have a surprise this weekend? Probably. Max Verstappen has always done well in races. When qualifying, he has not really done well in Baku. McLaren's no pole yet in Baku. Can we see a surprise this weekend? It's going to be a very, very interesting one. Now, we saw the Williams also looking pretty decent in Baku. The race pace is very close. Ferrari looks so fast, with Max Verstappen looking close to them, but don't discount the McLaren. It's going to be very interesting. When we come to FP3 tomorrow, very early, around 9 a.m. Nigerian time, and we come to the qualifying around 12 p.m. But don't count anybody out. Anybody can come out, especially the good runners of street racing. Don't count all these guys out. Anybody can spring up a surprise, and when the surprise comes, you don't want to miss it. Catch you guys tomorrow. FP3 and qualifying is going to be lit. Shoo!